Week 6 bowl projections. Yes, we're at Week 6 bowl projections. We do this every single week. Everything in college football is important here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. Welcome to episode 67. We're going to be talking about Brett McMurphy's Action Network like we do every week, their bowl projections. And for me, on a personal level, as a Gopher fan, it's going to be ugly. Ugly. After the Gophers' home loss to Purdue, I am scared to look at where the projections are for my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers. What about your team? What about your team? Are they now projected to go to a bowl game? How about Arizona Wildcats? Are they projected? Where is Kansas in these new bowl projections for Week 6? We're also going to be talking about today on episode 67 about an article that came out from Sports Pro Media in regards to an NBC official discussing the importance of NBC getting part of the new Big Ten media deal. Very interesting article. Couple nuggets there I want to explore. Please put your comments down in the comment section below the video. Let me know what you're thinking about this NBC speaking out on the importance of the Big Ten media deal and what your thoughts are from Action Network's projections. Are they correct? Do you agree, disagree? Do you agree or disagree with myself on what I think of these bowl projections? And please, again, smash the like button if you like our content. It helps with the algorithms, and we can see the influence of you all smashing the like buttons. Our channel is getting more and more exposure, and we thank you so very much. Share the video with your family and friends, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Thank you so very much. Let's get to the bowl projections, and then we're going to get to this NBC article. Here we go. NBC, Brett McMurphy, Week 6 College Football Bowl Projections. Before we get to the bowl projections, let's read about Brett McMurphy, this interesting situation that's forming around the Las Vegas Bowl. I'm going to read from the writings of Brett McMurphy in this article. In my August preseason bowl projections, I joked it's become tricky because not only do I have to project which teams will play in a bowl, but which bowls will actually be played. Because of the cancellations due to COVID-19 and the San Francisco Bowl folding last year, forcing ESPN to literally create a bowl game out of thin air, the bowl lineup has been, let's just say, fluid in recent years. Now, here in 2022, right? Now there's even more uncertainty about a bowl. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke, but rather a power play by a joke of an NFL franchise, the Las Vegas Raiders. Brett McMurphy goes on. It talks about how the Raiders approved the date and the kickoff time for the bowl game of the Las Vegas Bowl game, December 17th, 6:30 p.m. But then it goes and says on December 18th at 8:20 Eastern Time, the Raiders are scheduled to play the New England Patriots at NBC Sunday Night Football, which provides nearly 24 hours to transition the stadium from the bowl game played on artificial turf to the NFL's natural grass turf used for Raiders games. The problem is because of the Raiders' 1-3 start, there's a chance the NFL could flex the game off the Sunday Night Football game and move the kickoff up to a 4:30 p.m. Eastern start. Mark Anderson of the Las Vegas Review-Journal broke the news last week about this potential conflict between the Raiders and the Bowl. The Las Vegas Bowl executive director, John Santee, did not respond to the Action Network seeking comment. McMurphy ends the article here by saying the Raiders, which receive about $750 million of public money to build the stadium, have a joint use agreement with UNLV. It requires only 12 hours of prep time from the time the end of a Rebels game or the Las Vegas Bowl to start of an NFL game, which it easily would have even if the Raiders December 18th kickoff game gets moved up. So it shouldn't be a problem. Currently, the situation has not been resolved between the Bowl and the Raiders, who are one of the most incompetent NFL franchises trying to bully a bowl game. Who wins? Stay tuned. As far as the Raiders' commitment to excellence, what a joke. That's from Brett McMurphy, Action Network. I couldn't agree with him more. That should not be a problem. It should go on as is. December 17th. Okay, let's go to the bowl projections real quick here. To be announced bowl, UTEP Southern Miss, Bahama Bowls, Florida Atlantic, Northern Illinois. In the Trade and Cure Bowl, Georgia Southern, North Texas. In the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, Pittsburgh. They've been moved into this bowl now. Pittsburgh versus Memphis. In the New Mexico, Wyoming versus Rice. In the LA Bowl, Arizona is now projected in this bowl. Arizona versus Air Force. In accordance to these projections, Air Force would be a 7.5-point favorite. So Arizona is starting to see them in the bowl projections. Lending Tree Bowl, Mobile, Alabama, December 17th. Appalachian State versus Toledo. In the Vegas Bowl that we were just discussing. Will it be played on December 17th? Hopefully they get a decision soon. It should be played at the exact same time as it's listed. LSU versus the Washington Huskies. That would be an interesting game if that's what happens. LSU versus Washington. It's going to be this year it's going to be an SEC Pac-12 game. Teams playing in that bowl game. In the Frisco Bowl, December 17th in Frisco, Texas, Oregon State versus Houston. That's not the bowl game the Houston Cougar fans that they would be projected in here on October 6th. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, East Carolina versus South Alabama. And the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Miami, Ohio versus San Jose State. And the Boca Raton Bowl, BYU versus Liberty. Woo! BYU versus Liberty. Independent team versus independent team, although they're both going to be moving into a conference very shortly. New Orleans Bowl, UTSA versus Coastal Carolina. In the Armed Forces Bowl, Baylor versus SMU. Baylor's not going to get where they thought they were going to get to at the end of the season. Already they're suffering their second loss. Baylor's taking a step back. Baylor SMU, that would be a good game at Fort Worth, Texas. The tickets will be sold out for that game. Tulane versus Middle Tennessee in the Independence Bowl. Both those teams have had big wins this year against Power 5 teams. In the Gasparilla Bowl, Miami of Florida versus Michigan State. Oh my goodness. Two train wrecks playing against each other in Tampa, Florida. December 23rd. Again, I don't believe Michigan State's going to make it to a bowl game. They're going to get trucked this weekend against Ohio State. Don't think they're ever going to recover. We shall see. We shall see. The Hawaii Bowl, UNLV versus Western Kentucky. In the Quick Lane Bowl, December 26th, Detroit, Michigan. Rutgers versus Central Michigan. We'll see how Rutgers does this Friday night. That's a very important game against Nebraska at home. They're going to need to win that game if they want to make it to this Quick Lane Bowl. Friday night, tomorrow night, Texas Tech versus Boise State in the First Responder Bowl, December 27th in Dallas, Texas. UAB Marshall in the Birmingham Bowl, Birmingham, Alabama. That'll be a good one for that bowl. Troy versus Ohio in Montgomery, Alabama. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Wisconsin versus Kansas State, according to the projections by Brett McMurphy Action Network. Adrian Martinez will get one more shot at beating the Wisconsin Badgers. He couldn't do it as a quarterback of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Kansas State versus Wisconsin in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Again, that's not a bowl the Badger fans thought they'd be projected to go to here on October 6th. But right now, what's their record? 2-3. They just fired their head coach. Tough times for the Wisconsin Badgers. Duke versus UCF in the Military Bowl. Oklahoma versus Auburn in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I question if Auburn gets to this bowl. I question if Auburn can get the 6 wins. If they get the 6 wins, this is probably the spot. Oklahoma suffering through a tough first year under Brett Venables. Got to give Venables a chance. Got to give him a couple years to get his players into that program. Sooners versus War Eagle in the Liberty Bowl. Wake Forest versus Washington State. 2 teams, again, having successful years. Washington State, their fans are dreaming bigger than this Holiday Bowl as of right now. Wake Forest, big win last week. Wake Forest should be favored by 6.5 according to these projections. And look at Kansas in the Texas Bowl. Houston, Texas, they keep moving up in the bowl projections. Every week they keep moving up. Kansas Jayhawks versus Texas A&M Aggies. Aggies are going to get buried this week against Bama. Boy, can Jimbo Fisher, can he even get his squad into this Texas Bowl game? Again, leave your comments down in the comment section below the video. Wow, Kansas versus Texas A&M. Purdue, moving on up to the Pinstripe Bowl. Purdue versus North Carolina. And here, Cheez-It Bowl. Again, same projections as last week. Cheez-It Bowl. Notre Dame versus Texas. Boy, the tickets would sell out in Orlando, Florida on December 29th. The Alamo Bowl, TCU versus Oregon. That would be a very good game. TCU's having a very surprising, excellent season under their first year head coach. TCU versus Kansas this week. TCU versus Kansas. It's ESPN College Game Day. TCU 4-0, Kansas 5-0. Huge game. Iowa, Florida State in the Mayo Bowl. Charlotte, North Carolina, December 30th. Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Seminoles. In the Sun Bowl, the Orangemen, who as of right now are undefeated, versus UCLA. As of right now, they are undefeated. So both fan bases are dreaming bigger than the Sun Bowl. But as of right now, Brett McMurphy's Action Network has them in the Sun Bowl. The Gator Bowl, North Carolina State versus Arkansas. I was hoping for better for these 2 teams this year. I was hoping and praying that North Carolina State would defeat Clemson last Saturday, but they did not get the job done. So the Orange Bowl is out of the question for the Wolfpack. North Carolina State, Arkansas, Gator Bowl. That would be a fantastic Gator Bowl to watch. Jacksonville, Florida, December 30th. Eastern Michigan, San Diego State. I think this is the 3rd week in a row. That's been the projected matchup for the Arizona Bowl. And the Music City Bowl. No! Minnesota falls from the projection of going to the Citrus Bowl. And now they're playing in the Music City Bowl against the Florida Gators. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. It ain't over yet, Gopher fans. Let's go. We got to win we got to win on October 15th against Illinois to get us back up to Citrus Bowl projections. But right now we're projected in the Music City Bowl. Kentucky, Illinois, Tampa Bay, Florida, Maryland. They've taken the spot of the Gophers. The Maryland Terrapins having a very good season against the Pirate Mike Leach. Mississippi State, Hal State, Maryland, Mississippi State in the Citrus Bowl. The Orange Bowl, Clemson versus Ole Miss. Brett McMurphy, Action Networks had it right the whole time. I had North Carolina State. I had it wrong here in the Orange Bowl. Clemson, -5.5 projection. Favored over Ole Miss. That would be a fantastic Orange Bowl. I'm watching that game. Oklahoma State, Tennessee. It would be a pick'em game in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. Utah, Cincinnati gets back to the New Year's Six Bowl against Utah. Wow, Luke Fickell. What a job he's done with that program as they're going to head into the Big 12 here real soon. Utah, I still have them projected in the Rose Bowl, but right now at Action Network, Utah versus Cincinnati, and look at the Rose Bowl. USC and Penn State going to be conference mates in 2024. The Trojans versus the Nittany Lions once again in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. And again, the playoffs. This hasn't changed for Brett McMurphy in weeks and nowhere else, right? Nowhere else has this different. Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. He's got it projected. Brett McMurphy has it Ohio State, Alabama, as do I. And I have Alabama winning it all. Wow. There it is. Week 6 projections. Week 6 projections. Again, put it down on what you think in the comment section and below the video. Some of that stuff is fantastic to see. Kansas versus Texas A&M. Wow, that would be great. Great season for the Jayhawks. We'll see how they do against TCU Horned Frogs this Saturday. Now let's quickly get to the article. I find this an interesting article from Sports Pro Media. NBC says Big Ten is its biggest sports acquisition since the NFL. Chief Commercial Officer Rick Cordella also highlights the importance of the Premier League for Peacock. We're going to get through this article real quick. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. A couple of nuggets I really want to explore in this article. NBC believes that acquisition of Big Ten college athletics rights from 2023 is its biggest new deal since winning the race for the National Football League's Sunday Night Football package in 2005. So NBC believes this is the biggest new deal that they're incorporating into their portfolio. New deal since winning the race for the National Football League since the Sunday Night Football package in 2005. We're sitting here in 2022. So this is the biggest new deal in 17 years for NBC to acquire. We go on to the article. The broadcaster will pay, NBC will pay $350 million a year for between 14 and 16 football games a season until 2029. Remember, this deal goes from 2023 to 2029. All of which will be broadcast in primetime spot on its flagship television network. As we've discussed before, NBC will have the third game of the triple header of the Big Ten games, right? And it's going to be cross-promotional between CBS, Fox, and NBC. So early in the day, when Fox does the big noon game, first big game of the day, they're going to be promoting the fact that CBS is going to have a Big Ten game at 3:30 Eastern Time, and NBC is going to have a Big Ten game in its primetime spot. Very valuable. Very valuable point of the media deals when Kevin Warren was able to get these three networks to do cross-promotional work. And you can just see NBC at their game at night, primetime, cross-promoting the next week's game, going to be on Big Noon and CBS. Okay, we'll go on with the article. All these matchups will be simulcast on NBC's Peacock streaming service, which will also air 8 additional football games and 77 regular season men's and women's basketball fixtures. So every football game that's played on NBC, those primetime games, 14 to 16 games a season, will also be simulcast on Peacock, so you can watch it streaming live on Peacock. Also, Peacock will have their own 8 games to themselves, streaming 8 games, Big Ten games. 4 of them will be conference games, 2 Big Ten teams playing against each other, and 4 other games will be not Big Ten non-conference games. Okay, let's get to the good part. Rick Cordella, Peacock's chief commercial officer, told Sports Pro Stream Time podcast that it was essential for the company to be more involved with college football and for the deal to include content for both its linear and DTC platforms, which it got. This is Rick Cordella, quote, I joined NBC just after the NFL deal, and since then we've re-engaged with NASCAR in 2013 and have signed some pretty important renewals along the way, he said. But in terms of a new property, I can't think of a bigger deal in the 16 years I've been here than the Big Ten. It's very rare to see these properties change hands. That's the point I want to talk later after we get through this article. It's very rare to see these properties change hands. We're going to circle back to that. Again, back to the article. We have a long relationship with Notre Dame. That's pretty unique and something we're proud of. But to have Big Ten football every week in the fall, that conference is going to be a dominant force in college athletics. And we don't have to worry about teams being poached and leaving the conference. Wow, that says a lot. That says a lot. In fact, we're not even going to go past that part of the article. We're just going to focus on that. This is Rick Cordella, Peacock Chief Commercial Officer. Let's go through that last part again. We have a long relationship with Notre Dame that's pretty unique and something we're proud of. But, he pivots, but to have Big Ten football every week, not just 7 home games, every week in the fall, that conference is going to be a dominant force in college athletics. And we don't have to worry about teams being poached and leaving the conference. There are other things there that NBC is not going to have to worry about. That prime time spot, that either the second or third biggest game of the week, it's always going to be valuable. It's always going to be valuable. And it's going to be there 14 weeks, 15 weeks, 16 weeks of the season. The value is going to hold up. Unlike Notre Dame's football, the 7 games of the year, you don't know what you're getting. Yes, Notre Dame is a huge brand. It's incredibly valuable as a standalone product. But sometimes, some years, it's not going to be as valuable as others. This year, 2022, is a great example. Remember, we've heard reports of NBC offering Notre Dame $60 million a season for those 7 home games, but that deal hasn't been signed yet, has it? There's been no steam behind that deal. No reports. Hasn't been signed. You don't know Notre Dame's schedule. Look at those 7 games. Just look at them. Look at it next year, the year after. It's not nowhere near as valuable as NBC having 14, 15, 16 games during the season, Big Ten, where you know you're getting a good game every single week. You're not getting Notre Dame versus Kent State or whoever in any of those primetime NBC games. You're not getting a 3-3 Notre Dame going into week 7 or week 8 of a college football season in any of those NBC Big Ten games. Some years Notre Dame's going to be well worth what Notre Dame will pay for it, what NBC will pay for the content of Notre Dame, but some years they won't be. And throughout the lifetime of the contract, the security that the Big Ten content gives NBC is why NBC was willing to pay out $350 million per year of the 6-year deal. And let me circle back to this real quick. This part. This is again Rick Cordella, Peacock's Chief Commercial Officer. But in terms of a new property, I can't think of a bigger deal in 16 years I've been here than the Big Ten. It's very rare to see these properties change hands. It's very rare to see these properties change hands. What does that mean? Well, it's very rare for you to be able to come in and get such a big time product as Big Ten product. Networks do not let them go. Now, this didn't really change hands. It did. I mean, it did in the sense that ESPN lost the Big Ten property. Right? But Big Ten really had to expand for NBC to get in there, I believe. To get in there. NBC, once USC and UCLA, once they became part of the Big Ten, it increased the value of the Big Ten. Los Angeles market becomes a Big Ten market. You got that third game now definitely is going to be a really good game each and every week during the season. So in one aspect, it did change hands from ESPN to over to CBS and then to NBC. Of course, Fox remains part of the equation, obviously. But it's very rare to see that. And that is why I believe that Amazon is still talking. Just another reason why Amazon is still talking to the Big Ten. It's very rare to have these opportunities to seize part of some content of a major player like the Big Ten. Amazon went all in on getting that Thursday night package. $1 billion a game. Amazon went all in because it's very rare to get that opportunity to grab something that big from someone else to you as a media company. Very rare. So Amazon then went all in, went huge on trying to get part of the Big Ten piece. They overbid. They went above NBC and CBS bid. They went above the $350 million. They didn't get it. They didn't get one of the top 3 games of each week. But it's very rare to get an opportunity. So I think Amazon has taken the full extent of this opportunity to once again try to grab a piece of that Big Ten content, which would include Big Ten further expansion in this window. Just another reason why this story will not die. Not yet. And we're going to continue to cover it here at Peek Around the Corner. Again, give me your thoughts down on the comment section below the video on this NBC article. Talking about the importance of getting the Big Ten media deal. And you better believe Amazon is thinking the same thing. They need to seize this opportunity. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the bowl projections. And again, smash that like button, share the video, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so thus far. Again, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, until next time, please all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.